Before men sailed the oceans, before civilizations drew maps, the sea already hid a secret. Deep within the abyss, in the depths where light cannot reach, lives a fearsome, unattainable creature. Its name, Leviathan, a sea beast created by God himself, a masterpiece of power, ferocity, and mystery. In chapter 41 of the book of Job, God describes Leviathan in detail, but not as a legend, not as a myth, but as something real, present, and incomparable. Can you catch Leviathan with a hook? Or can you catch his tongue with a rope? God challenges Job, revealing the greatness of this creature. Leviathan cannot be tamed. Its scales are like shields. No spear can pierce it, no sword can harm it. His teeth are terrifying. Torches shoot from his mouth, sparks of fire fly out. Some scholars believe this creature could breathe fire like a dragon, or that its breath was so hot that it created steam when it touched the cold waters.
Run a shot across the bow. Run a shot across the bow.
For centuries, sailors told stories of a gigantic beast that appeared in storms, that capsized ships with its tail, and disappeared into the shadows, as if it were part of the ocean itself. Some try to say that Leviathan was just a giant crocodile. Others think of a prehistoric whale, but none of that compares to the biblical description. Leviathan is unique. He is fierce, majestic, untamable. The Bible doesn't just say he's strong, it says no human being can stand against him. When he exalts himself, the mighty are afraid. Terror grips them. He is the king of the sea creatures, the top of the chain, and no one, absolutely no one, can dominate him. God uses Leviathan as an argument to show Job that man neither understands nor controls everything, that there are things so powerful, so mysterious, that only the Creator can contain them. Who has given me anything that I should repay? Everything under the heavens is mine. Leviathan is not a threat to God, it is a testament to his power. Leviathan remains a mystery. Some see it as a legend, others as a symbol. But in Scripture it is as clear as a storm, a real monster, created by God, so terrifying that only the Lord can gaze upon it without fear. And maybe, just maybe, it still swims in the deepest parts of the world where no eye has ever reached. Despite the terrifying and detailed description of Leviathan in the book of Job, it remains one of the great unresolved mysteries of the Bible, a creature mentioned by God himself in one of the most solemn moments of Scripture, yet still surrounded by shadows, questions, and speculation. For many biblical scholars, especially those who take a literal approach to Scripture, Leviathan was a real creature, physical, tangible, created by God among the vast and powerful works of creation. They believe Job is not facing a poetic metaphor, but a concrete revelation of something that truly existed, perhaps even coexisting with ancient humanity. When God challenges Job, he is not speaking in allegory. He is presenting real evidence of his sovereignty, creatures that defy human understanding, like Behemoth in Job 40 and Leviathan in Job 41. Theologians point out that the original Hebrew text uses direct and descriptive language, physical details like impenetrable scales, fiery breath, terrifying teeth, glowing eyes, and a tail that makes the ocean churn. If it were just metaphorical, why would God use such precise physical words? This supports the idea that Leviathan was not just a symbol, but a real being. This is where scientists and archaeologists enter the conversation. While there is no fossil evidence that proves the existence of a creature exactly like the Leviathan described in Job, some paleontologists suggest that the Bible may be referencing now extinct marine reptiles. Creatures like the Mosasaurus, Leopleurodon, or Tylosaurus partly match the description. Elongated bodies, massive jaws, deadly teeth, and a fearsome presence. These animals ruled the prehistoric seas and could reach lengths of over 50 feet. Any ancient person encountering something like this, or even just hearing stories, would be deeply shaken. Others point to ancient crocodiles or giant sea serpents, suggesting that such creatures may have survived longer than science currently assumes. After all, modern oceanographers admit we've explored less than 10% of the ocean's depths, and according to scripture, Leviathan dwelled in the deepest, most unreachable parts of the sea. If it was real, it might still lie hidden, far from human reach. Culturally, the Leviathan also appears in ancient texts outside the Bible. In Ugaritic mythology, a sea monster named Lotan is mentioned, also symbolizing chaos and destruction. Rather than weakening the biblical account, this supports it. Multiple ancient civilizations, separated by geography and belief, held similar stories of enormous sea creatures. This suggests a shared ancient memory, perhaps based on something real that lived long ago. Some scholars believe these cross-cultural legends may point to a common source, a collective human memory of something that truly existed in the ancient world and was preserved in different ways. In that sense, the biblical Leviathan may be the clearest, most faithful record of that memory, written by a man who heard it from the voice of the Creator himself. On the other hand, symbolic interpretations remain strong. Many theologians argue that Leviathan represents the forces of chaos, destruction, and rebellion against divine order. But even as a symbol, the creature is no less terrifying. In Scripture, symbols often reflect deeper spiritual realities, so Leviathan becomes more than a monster. It becomes the embodiment of the untamable, the ungovernable, the dark unknown that no human weapon can defeat. And yet God says, "Everything under the heavens is mine." In Jewish tradition, there are stories that say the Leviathan will be slain at the end of days, and its meat will be served at the messianic banquet for the righteous. Some versions in the Talmud claim God created two Leviathans, male and female, but killed one to prevent them from reproducing, as their offspring would be too powerful for the world to survive. The skin of the slain Leviathan, they say, will be used to make tents for the saints. These stories, rich in mystery and symbolism, reflect one thing. Leviathan was not only real in their eyes, it was a key figure in how they understood the cosmic story. In Christian art and medieval texts, Leviathan has been depicted as a dragon-like beast, representing hell, pride, or even Satan himself. And in today's popular culture, the Leviathan appears in films, novels, and video games as a towering sea monster rising from the deep, always representing humanity's fear of the unknown, of the uncontrollable, of what waits beneath the surface. And so through centuries of belief, imagination, study, and faith, Leviathan lives on, whether as a literal beast from ancient waters, or as a powerful image of chaos that only God can subdue. Leviathan continues to fascinate and terrify. And perhaps that's the whole point. Leviathan exists to remind us of our limits, that no matter how advanced our science, how powerful our weapons, or how deep our understanding, there are things only God fully knows, and things that only God can tame. Whether in the frozen waters of the deep, in the ancient pages of Scripture, or in the memory of mankind, Leviathan still stirs. And his story, once spoken by the mouth of the Almighty, will never be forgotten.